again, it's that time of the week where we talk about the new Star Trek episode. This week it's Star Trek Lower Decks, Season 1, Episode 3, Temporal Edicts. I actually quite enjoyed this one. This one is... I enjoyed it better than the last one, which I enjoyed better than the first one, so... I definitely see this series progressively getting better each week. So that's great. That's what you want to see, right? Okay. So the episode opens with they're doing some kind of band thing, maybe a battle of the bands, or maybe just like a concert musical performance thing, and it really reminded me of something from when I was in the Navy. So Mariner breaks out the guitar, and she's quite obnoxious and loud with it, and oh man, it's bothering everybody, including the captain and and the Klingons out in another ship. They're just like, yeah, but what the hell is this? Anyway, what that reminded me of was when I was in the Navy, I'd often, I'd have my guitar and I'd often jam out with one of my buddies. The problem was, we jam out in one of the workspaces. And the problem was that workspace was right below the captain's cabin. And so one night we're just jamming out. It's like 10 p.m. Him and I had to watch at midnight, so it was just kind of like, hey, yeah, let's get in some band practice or whatever before we have to go on and watch. Anyway, knock on the door. It's like, okay, well, who'd be knocking on the door this time? And it's the captain. Oh shoot. Well, Captain took that opportunity to do an inspection of the space. Hey, you're going to wake me up? It's like, well, shoot. Okay. Sorry. And again, some of the humor in this episode landed. There was an Easter egg referring to Cardassia Prime. You're really most familiar with Cardassia if you watch Deep Space Nine. That was, and there were a species that was really featured heavily in Deep Space Nine. Well, their Cardassia trip got canceled because nobody wants to go to Cardassia, and so the captain is pretty upset with it. And it's like this ship is a joke. And first officer is like, yeah, but we're the funniest joke. So I can relate. Okay, so like how I talked about last week is, a lot of the series so far is stuff I can relate to. And I'm kind of seeing that pattern where, because a Navy technician guy and then, field engineer in my civilian life. So I kind of know firsthand exactly what these, lower deck crew members are up to. They're keeping everything running. And where it's like the senior bridge crew, they have their ideas of what it's like to keep things running. They don't really know. So there's a big conversation about how the hey, you don't tell anyone how long you think it's actually going to take you to fix something. You add a lot of time to your estimation. I mean, that goes back to the original series with Scotty. Hey, how do you think I'd get the reputation of being a miracle worker? I don't give the actual time frame, but there's something to be said for that. They called it buffer time in this episode, but there's something to be said for that. From my experience, you don't want to put yourself on under pressure that you don't need to put yourself under. It's hey, this should take me a half hour to figure out, and well, shit, it may just take me a half hour to get my tools ready. It's things like that where don't end up selling yourself short by giving unrealistic expectations because you are giving a best case scenario. I've made those mistakes before where it's like, well, if X, Y, and Z go right, I'll be able to hit A, B, and C at this time. And then it's just like, well, shit. On step one, I ended up hitting a stumbling block, and now somebody's on my ass for something I can no longer, I can't do anything about. You don't need people breathing down your neck when you could have avoided it from the start by giving a realistic expectation with the buffer time in case things don't go according to plan. So when the captain on this show just heard about this buffer time, she was really, really up in arms that, oh, my crew's so inefficient, we're a joke, we don't get taken seriously because of this buffer time. And so she mandates that there is no more buffer time. You do things exactly how long it's supposed to take, period, and then you are on to the next task. And that was kind of like a micromanagement and everything. And what it did was it actually ended up leading to so many mistakes that they were in a worse off position than they were before. So the moral of this episode was let text be text. Ends up directly leading into this contact encounter. I guess second contact, since that's what the ship does. But yeah, they were supposed to drop off this crystal thing that these aliens are really into. And they ended up mixing up some boxes and giving them something else that was really offensive to them. And it kind of started a little war. Thankfully, it was all resolved by the end of the episode. But it kind of goes to, the moral of the story is, you know what? Just treat the people that are under you like the assets they are. Manage who you need to, but if you can loosen up the reins and let people have some autonomy, it can go a long way. Okay, well, that was it for Season 1, Episode 3. Well, we're already 30% through the season. So I am enjoying this series quite a bit. At first episode, I was just kind of like, okay, cool. I'll stick with it, but it's like whatever. Second episode, I did a review of, and if you haven't watched that, please do. And that one was like, okay, good, okay. I see a marginal improvement in my enjoyment of it. Not saying that the quality is any better, but how I perceive it is more positive. And there's something to be said for that. You know, it is different. I'm definitely more into the serious Star Trek. You know, Deep Space Nine is my favorite series, and I'm actually enjoying Discovery and Picard, and they are significantly darker than what most of the 1990s Star Trek and the 1960s original show. And the original animated series, for that matter, what they were. So there's so this one is definitely a lot lighter, and so it's just kind of like it doesn't really feel like Star Trek to me. It's like, well, that doesn't really matter, you know. It's I feel like it's kind of something that new Star Trek needed, you know, because the Discovery and Picard are so dark, and they take themselves almost too seriously, that throwing something in like, oh, this little comedy cartoon show, okay, you know what? On paper, that didn't sound like a good idea, but it probably is. So, yeah. So stand by for next week for episode 4. So, please like, subscribe, and check out the other videos on this channel. Have a good day.